Mark in Teesside, good evening.
Good evening there, Daniel.
How can I help you?
So I am in the process of going to be asking for a flexible working request from my employer, and I'm aware that the legislation is changing from April 6. So I am going to put it in post-April 6. My question to you, Daniel, is how can I, as the employee who is anticipating a rejection, how can I best navigate the consultation process that employers are now legally obliged to follow during that process?
Okay, well, Mark, very little is changing on the 6th of April. The only thing that's changing is that employees will be allowed to put in 2 flexible working requests a year rather than 1. Yeah. So I'm not sure you need to wait till the 6th of April to do it. You've been able to do it for years and years and years. But is there a particular reason that you want to wait till the 6th of April?
Well, my belief now is with the legislation changing, the employer has to consult with the employee prior to rejecting. Whereas
that's always been the case, Mark. That's always been the case. Yep. In fact, the other thing that changes actually from the 6th of April is they only get 2 months to give a decision. Before the 6th of April, it's 3 months. So if you put your application in tomorrow, 3 months from tomorrow is still the same date as 2 months from the 6th of April, give or take. But hey, up to you. I don't think it makes a difference whether you wait or not. Anyway, to answer the question you phoned up to ask, really interesting question. This isn't aimed at you, Mark. This is aimed at other people listening. The right to request flexible working is a right that all employees have to ask for different working patterns from their employer. And the employer is required to have a meeting to listen to the reason why you want to change your working pattern and then to give you a decision. But it's not under an obligation to say yes. The right is to request flexible working. It's not a right to be granted flexible working. And employers have incredibly wide grounds to say no, ranging from they don't want to they don't want to. So to answer your question, Mark, what can you say in the consultation process? The most important thing to say to your employer is to explain to them how it will either make them more money. What do they do, by the way?
It's a large telco firm.
Sorry, it's a large?
Telco firm. Telecommunications.
Telecommunications. To explain to them how either it will make them more money or improve efficiency or allow you to do your job in a better way. Do any of those count?
I would say so, yeah. I'm putting it under the scope of being a reasonable adjustment, because when you request a reasonable adjustment, there's no time limits on that, whereas putting it within a flexible working request puts that statutory time limit in.
Well, you're right, but reasonable adjustments are only for those who are disabled. Do you qualify as disabled, Mark?
Yes, yeah, I do, right.
Yeah. I would go under the reasonable adjustments route, because for the flexible working route, they're just allowed to say no. No, we don't want to do this. They have to be slightly more articulate, but that's it. Reasonable adjustment route, they're going to be much more concerned about being sued for failure to make reasonable adjustments, because that's got potentially unlimited compensation. The compensation for not following the right to request flexible working process is 8 weeks' pay. Employers are much more scared of potentially unlimited compensation than they are of 8 weeks' pay.